Hello, I'm Jason Bridge and welcome to today's Woodworking Wisdom. So we're going to look at showing you how you can make your own little garden bench. Having done all the big machining, and you don't need to do your own machining for this if you didn't want to, you could actually buy in material, so local builder's merchant if you like, pre-planed, cut them to length, get around it that way. So don't go thinking you've got to go and buy lots of machines and stuff. If you've got your own machines, even better. If you're interested in that sort of thing, we've done a bit of machining, we showed you how you can get to this state. Clean it all up, nice and flat, nice and straight. At this point, we've got to do the halving joints. So we've got this cross frame that we're going to actually assemble with a halving joint in between it. To give you an idea of sizes, the main back leg going to run down is 101 centimetres or about 40 inches long. Remember, this hasn't got to be set in stone. You're going to trim these a little bit. Width-wise, again, you could alter it depending on what you've got. I've got about 4.5. We've got 45mm thick. The cross rail, which is going to give you the seating area, what have we got here? 750, same widths. We want to do a crossover joint as a halving joint in here. I want to come up from the bottom 290mm. So we've got our 290mm. I've marked on here, which is the bottom. I've got the bottom down on here. So from there we can mark this out a little bit. Now I've got slightly bevel. This has got about a 5-degree angle. Now we want the width of the board to go in. So I kept the offcut, just off the end. Other thing I can do on there, I've set up marking gauge, give us a halfway cut line. I'm going to do the same on the other two, but make them a reversal of that pair so the grain direction lines up and the halving joint configuration lines up so it looks the same. Alright, so clamp them together, get them in that configuration, check your pencil marks. It will take you 3 or 4 minutes. But it's quicker than the machine or go and buy some more wood. So how we clamp them up, we've now got an idea of which side we're taking out as our halving joint. So again, just a quick scribble before I take them apart can be really beneficial. So we can do table saw as one of the options. In the UK we've got to have something as a guard we can move up and down, but try and keep it over the cut. Alright, this has got a separate one. I could even actually change the blade and put the dado cut in, but we're going to do one cut in reality. First thing I want to do is set up my angles. So I've got my sliding bevel with that angle. I can set the fence. I've already done this a little bit. The guide on here even says 5 degrees, so I know I'm pretty good. But I can lay that down the blade and have a look at how it seats. Now I said the wood is 45mm. On here we could use UJK height jig. So if I put this on next to, we've got an adjuster on here. I've got an on-off button. Let's take it down. Onto the bottom, I can lock this up just gently. I can reset this now to 0. Now I said my wood is 45mm in thick. We want half of, that's 22.5. I'm just going to move my scale up a little bit. So at the moment I've come up to 31. I can bring this down. 21 in a little bit. Now I'm just going to undo the bolt I've done up. Just turn the saw blade away from this just to check our height. 21, coming up a bit. I said 22.34. And we're trying to find the maximum diameter of the blade. We're setting things up still. So we've got our angle, we've got our fence. I've got my mark. I'm checking which bit we're taking out. That's important. So we're going to drop it back over. Now I can actually set a few other things up on the table saw that makes it easier as we get going. I bought this side fence, so if we zoom up across here, out to here, that's now acting as a length stop. So that gives me a nice repeat cut and also guarantees I'm going to start and finish where I want. Likewise, if we slide this back, we come to the length stop on the fence. That's lining up with the cut for the other end. So between those, that's my maximum amount of movement I need. So at this stage, we're cut. Got the pair, we've got the other pair to do. Got the glue. So we've got some TITEBOND exterior wood glue, okay? So you want something that's going to go outside. Important bit now, and I never realised this. Need to shake it, okay? Mix that glue up a bit. It'll settle out when it's on the shelf. So we've glued our block in, roughly set up a position on the bench in the vise. I thought this was easier than putting it flat. This is the location of where we're going to come up off the front rail. Our aim now is to bend the ruler to get a shape. So if we add a clamp just in there, that's right on the corner of that join point of the boards. Using the round washer plate head, so I can pull that up round, that's good. Now to play with what I want here now, I can adjust things a little bit. I can change the tension, change the position. That works quite nice. So we've sort of sketched on our shape we're going to cut out. So we need to cut our shape out. We've got a couple of options. We can use hand jigsaw or we can use BANDSAW. So BANDSAW, this is quite new. It's something a bit different. Been playing with this. Love certain features about this. It's got really good extraction just below the table and lower down. Major thing that's going to help me for this, big outreach table on the back. So that's going to give me much more support so I can sort of control things from here and not have to worry about it falling off. We've got narrowest blade, 3/8 and 6 TPI. That'll give us quite a good finish. Nice clean finish, less to clean up after. Alright, okay, so a bit more of that sand up and clean up. So clamp them together, going to make it easier, wider bearing surface. Going to go and play with some spoke shapes. So this Wellingtonia is quite soft and more likely to tear a little bit with the grain. So I've got to look at which way I'm cutting a little bit. So we cut these out. Spent that little bit of time now shaping it, so spoke shape, get it all done. It's starting to look messier in here, which is great. Okay, it's starting to look like a woodwork shop. So up to there now, glued together. Let's just put that out the way. Other thing we've got to think about at some point in a second is the rails that go in. Now I've got a leg there, we've got the other one here. Gonna get a lot of flex. So we need something in between it. So we're going to make another joint, which we've done, our leg shape. On the back of here, I've got another halving joint that we've cut and glued together, just to cover that joint section. So we're now going to mark this out. I can cut this out. That will go midway down the bench between those slats, so it'll give us a bit more support. Right, so we've got the slats to do. So this is short section I've set up as test piece. We're going to use a little round over cutter. We're going to do a couple of things first. So end grain will be first. Okay, it's going to do that both sides, and then on the top face I'm going to do the edges. The undersides I'm going to leave square. So basically it creates a drip, a sharp corner. The rain will drip off of that better than having a curve. So we've got our frames assembled, glued. I want to round off the corners, but we don't need to do all of it, so I'm going to do that round. So I've marked it in the white pencil coming up, stopping here, and on the underside coming around to the front. So where the slats are going to go, we're going to keep that square. So come back over to the miter saw a little bit. We need to cut the bottom rail end that's going to connect the two ends together. So actually got a scrap off of when I cut the slats. So our slat I've marked off on the end, so I've come in 55mm off the end, so 2 inches just over, and then we've got the width for the bench material. Now I've got the measurement from our white line internal to the one right down on here. What I'm thinking of doing is coming in a mount either end, and then we'll do a curve in here just to add a bit more curve on there, but actually it will take that knot out as a defect. We've got the two sides at the moment. I've cleaned one up, got to sand the other. I've clamped them together. On the top one we've got here, we'll get you to have a look in a minute. When I put them together and I put the middle rail that's going on, I've got the location of where the bottom of it comes to. All right, so that's going to rest on the centre bar that's coming up through the bench to connect these together. So I've drawn it on in pencil where it needs to be. So all I've actually taken is the size of the piece of block we got and drawn around it. How easy is that? We want to drill 2 holes, and then we're going to drill 2 holes in the rail that's going to connect them, okay? Into there we're going to put some threaded rod. So in here you can see we've got the square pencil line. Now just to make my life easier to come over to it, I've got that bit of ply we use as push block. I'm going to slide that up to the edge of it. So we've got lip and spur drill, matches the same diameter as the threaded rod. It's not going to go all the way through, but we can use the block here now that we've set up with the 2 holes drilled in as a guide block. Get this nice and straight in exactly the same place. So our middle rail that connects those 2 ends, I've got some little scraps of plywood I've cut. We've got our block. It says T, that stands for top, that's going up. So we need to figure out the depth and length of our threaded rod. So we measure in here with a little depth guide, drop it down, we can check the depth of our holes. We've got 73. Our board thickness, which is this bit, 45. The length inside the nut, I want to make sure this doesn't bottom out. We're actually showing about 12mm. So I'm going to bring it back to 10. That'll give us enough to hold. 128 long. So now I'm going to cut the threaded rod to 128mm long. So we've got our cross rail. We've cut our metal pins. We want something as a solvent. This is a degreaser, just a case of wiping it over. On our slats, which are this, we've got our rounded edges, our end. We want to lay out the drilling. So with the test bit that was the offcut of the slats, so we've marked up where the ends are going to go, either end of the bench. That's there, we've got an overhang. I've marked up the 2 holes. And I want to have 2, it makes it a bit more stable as well when we screw it all together. It's going to add a bit of a sturdiness to the bench. I can lay this in, bring it down, there's my door. Fantastic, okay? Now at this stage you could put it together and then finish it, but you're going to miss bits underneath where the slats go and all those things bolt together. So is it better that we could actually oil this now in stages? We've looked at different finishes we've got an exterior varnish, that's more a surface treatment from my point of view. We have an Osmo oil, that will add a UV protector. We're going to go with some Liberal garden furniture oil. That's going to penetrate into, so we're going to brush it on, it's going to drink it up to start with. It's going to be quite amazing, it will soak in. All right, and we can do all those components, then we can start to put it together. So got everything oiled. We've done all that hard work. Now's that assembly time. Now by oiling it in components, we can get the oil everywhere and into the wood, so actually it'll stop it rotting out quicker. So everything kind of ready in position now. So I've got bench together. We've still got the middle bit to go in. We're going to do that in a sec. Got our slats, or some more spaces, we're going to explain. Clamp blocks to go either end. So everything's starting to come together nicely. So on here I've got the join point of where we put the triangle in the top. Get a nice line actually, and it looks, and I've had a check earlier, nice and square. So just going to line this up now. Spacer block I can put on the end. That's the amount we set in when we work these out. We do one either end. Should be pretty good there. Let's clip that on and we'll run back and get that end. It's good now. The Wellingtonia is quite soft, so I've taken the torque setting down, but we can play with this now. Let's just see where we're getting kind of flush. So I'm bringing the torque setting up on the drill. That's the thing we all forget. Let's do this one as well. That's good. Trying to get them flush, then we're going to do exactly the same down the other end. That gives us a start position now. Now let's try and work out something with some spacing. So all I've got is some blocks of plywood we cut. Just going to lay these in. Again, just setting up our spacer block either end. Put them on. That's trying to make sure everything ends up nice and equal down there. Just checking the blocks near side again now. So there you go, one complete bench. What more could you want? So simple in reality to make. A few halving joints, lots of screws, bit of oil, and you're ready for the summer. We'll see you again soon for more woodworking wisdom. Bye then.